this video I just want to have a word about how we're going to approach the key readings this semester for this unit. So as is customary with university units, each week I've assigned a couple of key readings related to the themes that we're going to be talking about, and I've selected them because I think they have ideas and methods that you will find useful in completing your assignments. So on the other hand, we know the problem with key readings in tutorials, and we all have been in tutorial rooms where the tutor has asked a question about the key reading for that week and silence has fallen over the room. Now, I want to suggest that there are very good, very understandable reasons why students show up in tutorial rooms. I'm not saying unwilling, but perhaps less able than they would want to be to participate in a conversation about set readings. And I'm going to be talking about why I think that happens, and I'm going to be telling you how I'm going to try and solve that problem this semester. But the first thing we need to acknowledge is you got to read. Invariably, the best scholars are the people who read the most widely and the most deeply. That's the only way to form a good research project based on a good understanding of what's happening in your field. And there's no way around that. So if you don't like reading, if you particularly don't like reading media theory, you're just in the wrong place. And there's nothing I can do to help you. However, that's only true for a very, very small number of people. Most of you, if you find yourself in a position where you can't contribute in the way that you would like to, and you feel a bit uncomfortable in tutorials because of that, look, don't worry about it. There are good reasons why you're feeling that way, and there's a pretty easy way to solve the problem. So let me talk about the reasons why I think people get into that situation where they rock up to a tutorial and they don't really have much to say about the readings for that week. So the main reason is reading is hard. Writing is hard. You may often feel that the studies that you read are written by someone who's bending over backwards to make an easy idea as complicated as possible. And that's not true. Firstly, there are no such thing as easy ideas. The only ideas that are worth talking about are the ones that aren't easy. And a simple, apparently easy summary of a particular research problem is generally built on years and years and years of research. So writing about media research is difficult. And that means that reading it is hard as well. Even for an experienced scholar, it'll take about 3 hours to read a journal article and really understand it. So it's not easy for anybody. And that's for someone with lots and lots of experience. And then quite often you'll find that it really takes 2 or 3 readings of an article to really understand not only what's being said, but how you can use what's being said, why it matters to you. It's not uncommon to read the same piece of writing year after year after year and always come back and find fresh perspectives in it. So in some ways, the semester doesn't really work very well for set readings because you just don't have that much time to do the necessary reflection. That's all the more so because of the situation you're in. Firstly, many of you are doing many subjects and you're working a lot as well, just to earn money to live. The second thing, of course, is that many of us are doing it in our second language. All I can say to you people is hats off. It's quite remarkable because what you're having to do is you're having to make not 1 but 2 translations. You're having to translate from your native language into English, but then you're having to translate from everyday English into technical English. So one of the problems in media studies is that we use a lot of words that people use in everyday talk, words like culture, for example, but we give these words precise technical meanings, and you need to know what those are. So there's every reason to turn up to a tutorial class not really in a position to contribute to a detailed discussion about key readings. It's to do with time. So we're going to find a way to get around that. I think another issue is that quite often, because of the time issue, you read when you write. That is, you'll read a core idea if and when it applies to the assessment that you're doing. So there's kind of a mismatch between the timetable of the semester and your timetable. So I've set something to read in week 2, but you might not really be ready to engage with that until week 6 when you're doing a written assignment. Now, what I want to say is that's okay. I actually think I really understand people who do that. You're time poor, and to me that's a pretty rational use of your time to say, well, I'll read this if and when it's relevant to what I actually want to write about. Because the other thing, of course, is that what I find particularly compelling about media research might not be what you want to explore, and that's fine also. But I do think that the key readings will have ideas that everyone can use in some way in their work, at least ideas that are worth talking about. So we got this problem, and it's kind of my job to help you out with that. So that's what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. Well, I said I'm going to help, but I better tell you how. Each week I'm going to do a short summary of what I think are the key ideas in the readings. So for example, in week 1, I'm going to be going over an explanation of the key ideas in Sherry Turkle's work and explaining why I've selected that piece. And that is an important way of thinking about how to approach media literature when you're sitting down to write. So each week what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining why I've selected a particular piece of research, what its main ideas are, and why those ideas are relevant to the whole realm of media research, making a case that anyone who's interested in media influence should be interested in this piece, either because the writer has been particularly influential or because the idea has been particularly influential, or both. Now, this is a really important skill because this is something that you're going to be able to do in your writing. So when you're basing a research project on a literature review, you're going to be selecting a small sample of the literally hundreds of thousands of media studies that are out there. And you're going to need to be able to explain why you've chosen this particular set of readings, this particular set of authors. So what I'm going to be trying to do is demonstrate how to do that. So what that means is you'll be able to come to tutorials with a broad overall sense of how the tutorial exercises are existing to ideas that exist in the literature. So there's no need to have those long, empty moments where you're staring at your screen and sitting in front of a PDF, hoping that enlightenment will fall on you. It's just a waste of time. It won't. You're not going to grasp a complicated article in 3 minutes in a tutorial room. It's just not going to happen. So don't even bother sitting there staring at your screen. Just watch the preparatory video before you come to the tutorial. And then in the tutorial itself, we're going to be doing exercises based on those readings. So there's absolutely no reason not to be able to participate. But just one final warning, or one final observation, going back to the original point. These videos are not a substitute for doing your own reading eventually. Please do the reading. And if you do, what you'll find is there's a wealth of information in these readings that I can't possibly capture in a short video. And this gets back to the fact that the people who do best in this unit will be the people who read the widest and the deepest. But we're all going to be able to get through the readings, and and I hope that you'll find that this particular tactic will at least help you find your bearings, help you find your place in the unit. So I'll see you in class.